Update two. I did a speech last week. I'm going to do it again, but maybe a little different. So who here likes to invest in stocks? Some. Who here invests in real estate? Maybe a condo, a house. Who invests in silver? Anybody? Except for me? Gold and silver investments? Maybe some gold jewelry. Gold jewelry counts. Well, tonight, before I get started, I'll give you a quick history of gold, and the thing to keep in mind is gold and the US dollar. So the US dollar, as some of you know, Ken, you probably know, in 1972, it was, up till then it was backed by gold, and then in 1972, for whatever reason, a lot of countries were asking the US for their gold back, and the US went off the gold standard. So since then, who knows what's our money back now? What's it backed by, our money? Oil? Promise?
Faith in the U.S. government, right?
The U.S. Treasury.
Well, it's backed by all these things. Basically, what backs our money is just productivity, the fact that America is a good place to do business, so people assume our dollar is worth something. Now, I first started investing in gold and silver in the year 2000. And back then, just to show you how inflation works, back then, gold and silver was $300 or $400 an ounce. Silver was $5. Now, gold is $1,200 and silver is $15. But let's go back to the 70s for a minute. Who was around in the 70s? Some of us were here. How much was a sports car, a Mustang, back in the 70s?
I wasn't old enough to have one of those. But what?
It was about $3,000 or $4,000, right?
Yep.
Now it's $40,000. A gallon of gas was, I think, 30 cents. Now it's $3. And an ounce of gold was $30. Now it's $1,200. So keep that in mind as far as how inflation works. Now, as far as some other investments, since the year 2000, a dollar I think was at $10,000. Now it's at $20,000. So it's doubled. But actually, gold and silver have done better. A lot of people think gold and silver really isn't a good investment because it's volatile. But if you look at it over time, it's actually it's done pretty well. So I'm going to give you a few other reasons why I think gold and silver might go up. We have a lot of Asians in the audience, and the fact is, India and China have a long history of buying gold and silver. But for the last 30, 40 years, the U.S. has been the main driver of using commodities and stuff like this. But now, we have another couple billion people consuming, buying things, so India and China are going to be able to buy a lot more gold and silver. Think of a couple billion people buying all these things instead of 400 million like the U.S. has. Now, another thing about the U.S. to consider is the amount of debt we have. I don't want to get too technical, but just for example, when Obama took office, the national debt was $8 trillion, and now it's 16. So it doubled in 8 years, which it's just a number, it doesn't really mean anything. When at the same time, our economy has appeared to get better. Things are better than they were 8 years ago. We all remember the financial crash here, Tim. Remember how many people were coming to Toastmasters?
Yeah.
Not many, because a lot of people were out of a job. But the fact is, the $8 trillion, it still has to be paid back. It's still sitting there, this $8 trillion, that eventually has to be paid back. The only reason why it hasn't caused a problem is because there's faith in the dollar and interest rates are low. But still, I know I haven't convinced maybe not even one person to buy gold and silver. So I'm going to do another thing. I did another speech, it was maybe 6 months ago, where I actually bought a 10-ounce bar of silver. And I took it in my hand, and first I asked one of our guests, who has a savings account? And what's the interest you get in your savings account?
Oh, I don't know, like 1% or something.
Like 0%.
Yeah, it's like,
Maybe 0%.
yeah,
So I asked our guest, what did you get in your savings account? And it's pretty much been like this, I don't know, for the last 6 or 7 or 8 years. And then I said, look at expenses. I'm not talking about the 70s, I'm talking about right now. Just in the past few years, how much has your rent gone up if you rent? Healthcare expenses, education expenses, stuff like this, food costs, everything is going up maybe 10 or 15% a year. Maybe more, maybe less, 10%. So the money in your account is actually losing value over here if it's at zero. Yet if I convinced some of you to buy a 10-ounce bar of silver and you threw it in a drawer for 5 years, or maybe in a safe box, like I have my stuff in a safe box, if you had that for 5 years, the odds are it would keep pace with inflation, right? Just like it has done in the 70s and from the year 2000. So if you have, say, $5,000 in your savings account, you can buy $5,000 worth of silver bars, or you can keep the $5,000 in your bank account, and over the next 3 or 4 years, as we all know, everything is going to go up. Your money will be worth less, but the silver might cover these expenses. Now, in my other speech, which was more convincing than this speech, some of the guests, I think Allison, she said, that's great, but how do I buy gold and silver? Where do I buy this stuff? You've scared me into thinking there's going to be some, Trump's the president, everything's going to go nuts, but how can I get the gold and silver? And that's one more thing. I'm not going to put down Trump, as Ken alluded to, I usually do, but the fact is, whether you like him or not, he's very unpredictable, which should be good for gold and silver if he lasts 4 years, because the fact is, no one knows what he's going to do, and it creates instability, and people like stuff that's stable. One more good reason to buy gold. But quickly, where do you buy these things? Well, we all know what the financial instruments today, they're very sophisticated, and that goes for investing in gold and silver as well. You can start off, if you want, you can buy a gold or silver bar, but the thing is you want to watch expenses. If you go to a coin shop, if silver is $15 an ounce, they're going to charge you a $2 or $3 an ounce premium. It might take you 3 years just to make your money back. Now I've heard some people talking, actually eBay, I've done speeches on eBay, but actually to buy silver or gold bullion, eBay is actually a pretty good place. You can buy your gold or silver and just pay a small premium. But there's other ways to invest in gold and silver. Like I said, financial instruments over the past few years has been very sophisticated. So you can actually buy gold or silver as kind of like a tracking stock, a GLD or SLV, which tracks the price of silver or gold. Maybe the cost of the fund is 0.5% a year, what have you, but you can do that through your whatever brokerage account you have. So that's one way. And then if you want, the fact is, some people are looking for a bigger play, get a little more bang for your buck. Quickly, you could buy gold stocks. The thing about gold stocks is individual stocks, those are very risky. I remember when I first started 10, 15 years back, I bought a company and they had a mine in Bolivia and they nationalized the mine and your money's worthless. So if you're going to buy gold stocks, which over history generally, they give you 3 times the performance of the price of gold. So if gold moves up 10%, most gold stocks will move up 30%. So the best way to do it is you buy a basket of gold stocks, which one of the indexes is the GDX index. This just a big basket of most of the major gold companies. You're going to buy that, and it will be much better than buying gold stock. But for most of you novices, I would suggest starting off just buying a few bars of silver, or if you're a bit more wealthy like Ken or Tim, you can buy a few ounces of gold, and just see how it goes. Follow the markets over the next few months, and you'll start to get a feel of, does this seem right or not? So hopefully I've answered some of your questions, and I will come back next year and see how we've all done. Thank you.